to talk about some of the new things that we might not be aware of in the security space. So let's hear it for our friend Marcus.
Thank you, Sarah, for having me. Sarah approached me about a month and a half ago, and she said, you know, I would like you to speak, but you have to promise to ensure that the brief is fun. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be interactive. She said, don't suck.
I didn't say that.
Try not to suck.
I said that.
Oh, okay, John said that. The next thing, before I get started, John is actually one of my mentors and has kind of helped me out with the SCORE program. The SCORE program has been awesome. I've had a mentor for the past 3-4 months. I just started Socratec Cybersecurity about 4 months ago, somewhere in there, and they've been totally awesome as far as guiding me through and just to giving me some great pointers. Notice I said guiding and not advising. They won't really advise, but they will guide you, in the right direction and give us suggestions, I guess. So, like I said, my goal is for this thing to be interactive, and I'll try not to suck, and I really want to have fun with this. So if I get to talking a little fast, you can tell that I'm really passionate about cybersecurity, and I really love security, and obviously that's why I'm here. So without further ado, all right, pop quiz. All right, right off. So the reason I have this pop quiz is I want to gauge the level of knowledge in the room, right? So I'll let you marinate on this right here. Just think about that question for a second. All right, does anybody know what that is?
The very common password.
Very common password, you're right. That is one of the top 10 passwords not to use, or that people used within 2018. So just to let you know. Yeah, let me in. Yes, let me in. Notice no caps, no numbers, no special characters, right? Let me in. I think it's number 7. Okay, number 7. And I'm glad that people, hopefully somebody or a few people will change their passwords after this class. I heard the snickering a little. Next thing. What percentage of cyber attacks in 2017 started with a phishing email?
8%.
Yep, what?
8.
I'd go higher.
Higher or lower?
Higher.
Higher? Okay.
Higher.
What do you think?
I'd say probably more like 90, 95.
Okay. Actually, 91%.
There you go.
Okay, 91% of cyber attacks in 2017 started with a phishing email. Okay, 91%. Okay. All right. What is the difference between information security and cybersecurity? Does anybody know? Anybody want to take a guess at it?
Somebody's protecting it. Information security, somebody's protecting it.
Okay.
And then cybersecurity is more vulnerable in the sense that you answer a question that you didn't want to ask.
Okay. Anybody else?
Is information security more with regards to your personal, private information?
No. No. Anybody else? Yes.
Wouldn't the information security be involved with where it's stored, where cybersecurity is the interaction of people part of it?
Something like that. You're on the right track. Do I have someone in the back?
I was going to say the physical security of the information itself versus the vulnerability of access via internet, whatever else you want to call it.
Oh, within the cyberspace, right?
Yeah, cyberspace.
Okay, yes.
So like how the companies are protecting their website. So when you interact, the interaction is protected. Nobody can access it. And the information is just...
Yeah, so basically, the difference between information security and cybersecurity is that information security encompasses both the cybersecurity and the physical security as well. All right? So when someone says that they are an information security professional, what that means is that they understand the entire holistic approach as opposed to just securing your computer. All right? They understand how to properly classify data, whether it be top secret, whether it be unclassified, whether it be sensitive, whether it be PII, which is personal identifiable information. Okay, that's what the information security is. Now, the buzzword that you hear right now is cybersecurity. Everyone says, oh, cybersecurity, and everyone knows what cybersecurity is, right? But cybersecurity just deals with the electronic data, okay, the electronic form of the data. Information security deals with everything, dealing with the hard copy, dealing with the locking of the doors, physical security, guards, all that stuff, right? So that's the difference between information security and cybersecurity. So, all right, the difference between information security and cybersecurity. All right, what is the level of security knowledge in this room? Okay, this is kind of a rhetorical question, right? And the reason that I ask this is that I kind of want people to understand that some people have a really high knowledge of information security, cybersecurity. Some people have a really limited knowledge of it, right? So in the process of developing this talk or this class, and what I had to do was I had to say, okay, I don't want to talk over someone's head, but then again, there's probably a few smart people in this room dealing with the cybersecurity. So if I don't really engage you through the talk, I'm sorry, but that's kind of what I have to think about as I'm developing this. So yeah. All right, and this is for Sarah right here. Sarah, you remember the thing that we talked about, the very last thing, because you're a really smart cyber person? You remember what I mentioned to you? What we were talking about?
Oh, the thing that you said that wasn't going to be the only thing you were going to talk about?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
So what is that right there?
A wheel of fortune.
Oh, we look fortunate.
Huh? What's that?
Isn't that the old, wasn't that the old typewriter?
No. But it's a good guess. Can anybody tell me what that is?
Cipher wheel?
Huh? What's that?
Cipher wheel?
Caesar cipher. Good job. Good job. Now this was used back in Caesar time right here, right? And basically, this is one of the earliest forms of cryptology right here. And a cryptology falls under information security, cybersecurity, within our industry, right? So basically what you would do is that you would turn this wheel, this outer wheel to a letter. You would match one letter, and then you would kind of fill in the blanks after that, right? So that's basically what the Caesar cipher is right there. All right? So yeah, good job. Good job.
But those aren't the same letters that Caesar used.
No. That's a good point. You see how I told you there's some really smart people in this room? You see, and there are some people like me who are way down here, so, just to let you know. All right, so pop quiz, no more pop quizzes. All right, agenda, these are some of the things that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about why we're going to have this class, for this talk, and we're going to talk about security. And I really wish that I could get that to stop doing that, but we'll just have to deal with it. We're going to talk about password security and all that good stuff right there. All right. So a little bit about me. This lovely woman right here, there's only one woman snickering in the room right now, and that's my wife, okay?
And where is she?
I'll let you figure
She's
out
the one
where she is.
snickering.
There she is right there. This is my wife, Alicia. But this is when the thing flips back here. This was us on a cruise right here. What I love about this picture is that I'm like, giving her the business, and she's just like smiling. She's like, he's just playing, right? All right, a little about me. I founded Socratec Cybersecurity. I volunteer at the Manatee County Library System, and I help people with their technical needs, with their cybersecurity needs. And I do that on the last Saturday of every month. That's the way that I get back. I'm a doctoral student out of USF. My research focus is on the insider threats and the causes of insider threats within the cyberspace. That stuff really interests me. I'm a 27-year retired military information security officer. You see there's that term, what information security, because I understand the physical security as well as the cybersecurity portion as well. My last job, I worked with SOCOM, which is the Special Operations Command. I did a lot of top secret work out there with their computer security incident response team. So we basically oversaw the entire global network.
And you can't tell us about any of that, can you?
I can't.
You can, but you gotta kill them.
Exactly. So the door, notice how I'm standing closest to the door, so, you know. But, you know, lots of fun stuff with that. So I basically handled, you know, all of the incidents that occurred on the network, that entire global network, so lots of fun stuff. Prior to that, I worked as a U.S. Navy lead security engineer, and I also worked out at Oregon State University as an information systems security officer, and I dual-hatted as an assistant professor as well. So fun stuff, but these are the main certifications that I hold right here. This is the gold standard in the information security profession right here. This is the CISSP, Certified Information Systems Security Professional, Certified Information Systems Manager, and finally a Certified Advanced Security Practitioner. So that's a little background about me. All right. So moving on. Some of the stats that we have. From 2015 to 2017, cybercrime rose 1,100%. That is incredible to think about, right? Email compromise scams are a $12 billion industry, right? And remember when we had that pop quiz and we said that what percentage of cyber issues? 91%, right? 91%. So you know what, the bad guys are out there. All right. So there it is right there. 91% of cyber attacks. Of cyber attacks in 2017 started with a phishing email. All right, 93% of breaches could have been avoided. 93% could have been avoided. And notice the picture. Did you see the picture that we had up here before it flipped back? See that? Can anybody tell me what that is?
Gifts.
Gifts. Gifts, presents for the bad guys, right? Because we just keep giving it to them, right? We're like, password, let me in. Password, my pet's name. Hey, password, 1234, but let's really make it secure, 56. Right? You know, so you know, we just keep giving it to them. And these little statistics right here were brought to you courtesy of the FBI Internet Crime Complaint Center for the IC3. Okay. All right. Moving on. These are some of the things that have happened within the past few months. The state of Louisiana issued a state of emergency because of all the ransomware attacks that were occurring. Texas was hit with 23 small government ransomware attacks. Close to us, Riviera Beach had a ransomware attack, and they had to pay a $500,000 ransom. Plus, they had to pay $941,000 in cleanup as well.
I think that was on their 911 center.
Huh? What's that?
I think that was on their 911 center.
Yeah, yep. Didn't realize it was on the 911 center. Wow. Okay. Lake City, Florida, ransomware attack, $460,000 ransom, right? And at Key Biscayne, Florida, they haven't released the statistics right here. And you'll notice that it's hard to pull statistics dealing with this because companies are really keep these statistics close to the vest because they don't want, she's smiling right now because she works at a bank, right? Is that right? So then people don't want to kind of let that stuff out, because then it kind of shows where they're vulnerable, correct? So yeah. And notice at the bottom right here, all attacks involved phishing email and lack of proper DRP and data backups. DRP is your disaster recovery plan, all right? So yeah, bad happenings, this is stuff that's like actually happening. And you'll notice I pulled this, this was all in 2019 right here since May, all right?
You know what I think was interesting, Marcus, is when those first came out, we didn't know who they were. It just said that 23 cities, government
Yes.
entities had been hacked, but they didn't even release the names.
Right, right,
And
right.
the ransom attack, why don't you describe that? I don't know if everybody knows, but I mean,
Okay.
it's pretty
Okay, good
horrendous.
question. So a ransomware attack is a form of attack where a bad person infects your system with some type of malware or a malicious software. That's what the term malware is, a malicious ware, right? A malicious software. So basically what they do is they infect your system. When I say system, a system is defined as any type of electronic device that processes data, okay? So, it can be a smartphone, it can be a tablet, it can be a computer,
But-
it can be a server. What's that? Go
But
ahead.
it's like a kidnapping. I mean,
Yeah,
they
basically
lock
what it
up,
is.
they lock up some sectors of your data,
Yep,
and they say, if you want it unlocked, pay me, and I will give you the code to unlock it.
the code to unlock it. So basically what they do,
And that's
Is
where
they do a great-
blockchain should accelerate.
correct. So then what they do is they basically do a great thing and they encrypt your data for you, right? So they encrypt your data for you, but they hold the key, if you will, to unencrypt it, and they hold it for ransom, upwards of $500,000 somewhere in there. Blockchain, we'll talk about blockchain for a second. You brought up blockchain. Can anybody tell me what a blockchain is?
It identifies a point of initiation between a transaction, and it holds that
Yes.
secure to
Yes.
at all times.
So
So it's like a genealogy of information.
yes, and so from the security standpoint, what it does is it basically encrypts your data from one point, and then when it moves on, when a change is made, then it encrypts it with another block, so that you have this kind of chain that it doesn't allow a hacker to access it at any point, because it's encrypted all the way along, but it's chained. So that's basically what blockchain is, okay? And that's a new buzzword, along with AI, that's what, or artificial intelligence, that's what people are really getting into right now, in hopes of slowing this whole thing down right here, right? Because if we've already encrypted it with blockchain, then the hackers can't encrypt it for us, right? You had a question?
So I'm just trying to understand what you just said.
Okay.
So like they get a particular amount of data
Yep.
and they encrypt it in a particular way.
Yes.
Then they move to a next data, but they encrypt it in a different way.
For the blockchain, basically, yes.
And then
yes.
they go to the next data and then a different. So
Yes,
even if you
yes.
solve the first one, you can't solve the second.
Correct.
I'm
Correct.
just trying to understand.
Correct. That's all it is. So basically, they use, in theory, they use the same algorithm, but they change the variable.
So is that the first wheel you showed us? So
That-
as if
no,
they
That-
keep changing?
It's a really advanced algorithm that they use, right? So it's the only way to encrypt or then unencrypt is to use some type of computer processing. It's really advanced. So
Thank you.
And I didn't really want to show any of that because I don't know where we are with the, you know, level of the knowledge in the room. But that's a great question. Yes, sir.
AOL, when I log in, tries to sell you something, and they say that it's something to help with ransomware before it's too late. Because
too late.
even if you pay for it, sometimes they don't even release it, they just take your money.
Correct. Now, I don't know what you guys saw, but there was a recent news report that Homeland Security has been tasked with opening up there's going to be like an incident response center, and they're in charge of it, of Homeland Security, where people that are hit with ransomware here soon will be able to contact Homeland Security.
There you go.
And Homeland Security will help them, you know, in theory, Homeland Security will help them, unlock that ransomware code, if you will. Yes, sir.
But so on that point of Homeland Security, I mean, so when I wrote up the description here, we're talking about cybersecurity, information security, and I put in there this thing about security and containment. So I will get to there, and that everybody should be aware of this.
Yes.
Because nobody in this room is too big or too small.
Yes.
So as we talk about this, it's very easy to go, oh, this is not for me. And then when we mention Homeland Security, I mean, how well is the FBI able to help people with their identity fraud? Are they overwhelmed? Are they actually able to do something? Not really a lot. I'll answer that for him because they're not really good. I don't want to make him feel bad. I just took you off the hook. So I don't want to do that.
Thank you. Because I was going to ask to ensure that, we're not actually actively recording it.
Yeah, so if we're not, so I don't want to do that because I don't want to get him in trouble. They can't really, the government really can't help you a lot. You can call, but where you are in this whole line of stuff, there's not a lot that they're going to be able to do.
Kind of like
All we do is
call it. Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
there's not.
Right, so there's only so much they can do, so I think it's really important. So even if they open something, your best thing in this room is to really pay attention because you're not too small and you're not too big.
Yeah, so
Beth.
So she just brought up a really good point. She mentioned that you should contact law enforcement, the FBI. The very first thing that you want to do is if you're hit with any type of attack, okay, is that you want to do not, whatever you do not just continue on like nothing happened. Okay, that's not good. I've seen companies do that before, right? They're like, well, if I just kind of put my head in the sand for a few days, it'll like go away, right? Or if I restart, then it'll go away, right? If I just restart my computer, it'll go away. Don't do that. I would, the very first thing, you should contact some type of cybersecurity company, right? Like myself or some other cybersecurity company within the area. If you're hit with a ransomware attack, the very first thing that you should do is that you should take a picture of the screen, okay, the very first thing, right? Because that helps us identify what type of ransomware, there are different types of ransomware strains, if you will, and it helps us identify what type of strain it is, and the FBI provides us with codes to unlock certain types of ransomware already. All right. Now, 90% of the ransomware can be unlocked right away. So whatever you do not, have any conversations with the bad guys. Don't pay any money. Okay. Just take a screenshot of it. Call someone right away. Don't wait for 30 minutes. Don't don't wait for a few hours, but call someone right away, whether it be the FBI, whether it be one of the local cybersecurity companies, because this is kind of what we've done in the past, right? We kind of understand what we're dealing with, right? Whatever you do, don't try to deal with it yourself, okay? Yes?
What's
Yes,
that
of course.
screenshot we need to take the shot
Take a
of?
picture.
But what-
Just, take a picture with your phone, okay? I'm gonna take a picture of the exact, of the message on the screen.
It's like a ransom note on your screen.
Yep,
So say-
the ransom note.
We
Like
will-
a pop-up,
Okay.
like a
Yep,
pop-up pops up
the
and says,
pop-up.
if you don't send 500,000 to this bank
Yes,
account,
yes,
you can't log in.
yes, yes.
Oh, I don't
And
understand.
then
That makes sense.
from there, we can give you advice from there, right? What we might have you do is we might have you air gap the system, okay? Air gapping occurs when you basically cut off all communication that the system has. So basically, we might instruct you to unplug the Ethernet cord from the back of the computer, or unplug your server or whatever, okay? But take a picture of the screen first, because some ransomware has been known to, when it senses that the Ethernet cord has been unplugged, then it's been known to kind of self-destruct a little, not like destroy your computer, but just makes it really, really tough. So just to take a picture of the screen and contact somebody. Don't wait. All right. Any other questions?
It's funny,
Yes.
I had this analogy about when you're talking about air gapping.
Yep.
And I tell people, I say that the malware, what it does is it phones all its friends and they have a house party on your computer.
It does. It does. It does. It does. And that's so basically the way that I explain that to people is that if you air gap your system, what you're basically doing is you're basically closing the door, and you're not allowing that malware to communicate with the controlling body or that bad person on the other end. Okay, so that's what you're doing. You're basically air gapping, closing the door, and you're locking them inside your computer so that we can. And not only that, but what that does is it stops the spread to other systems. Okay, to other systems, not only on your network, but it stops the spread to other devices overall. All right, so some people work from their home computer, and their home computer has, a lot of personal stuff on it as well. So, you may be hit with a ransomware, and you may have your personal email account up at the time, right? So, then it has access to your personal email account. So, then they can just start willy-nilly sending emails out to all of your contacts within your email accounts, right? So, whatever you do, just take a picture of the screen, call someone, and then we can kind of walk you from there what to do with it. Okay? Yes.
I think you want to mention that some people don't realize that they're using Wi-Fi, that's also like it's a wired connection that you have.
Yeah. So with your Wi-Fi or your wireless network, you should ensure that you are, you have the proper security with that as well. You should ensure that you have a good password set up, and we'll talk about passwords a little bit here. Because they have what's called drive-by hackings. Does anybody know what a drive-by hacking is?
Like a war driving.
Yeah.
Okay, war driving, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what is war driving? Go ahead.
That's when you ride around with a laptop, usually with a souped up antenna, and you're looking for vulnerable
Sounds like
systems.
you've done it before.
He on Friday night. There goes Norm.
I will neither confirm nor deny.
Norm, you should like create a business.
Yeah. So.
No, I know, but I drove by your house last night.
Yeah. So basically, just like he said, when you have hackers that will drive around in their car, and they will have their computer open with an antenna, and they are basically searching for Wi-Fi routers that are broadcasting their SSIDs or their IDs. And when they see that there is a unencrypted one, they will stop and they'll hack into the Wi-Fi router, and they will take control of that router. So it just ensures that you have a really, really good password. It doesn't really matter if your broadcast is turned on or off, because hackers have been known to, hack into your Wi-Fi router regardless if your SSID is being broadcast or not. Really, really scary stuff.
And don't touch the web.
That gets back to having a really good password. So, yeah.
Even if you have the electricity cut off to it?
No, you need to have, it does have to have what, the device has to be on, obviously, for someone to hack into it. Yeah.
Okay, so from
has
the
to
point
be-
of view of just most normal people.
Yeah,
On the computer,
yep,
you're doing something. They hack in,
yep,
the least amount is they get nothing. The most amount is they get every single bit of your information.
Yep.
Because they have now taken over all of your
devices. Right.
So, and if you don't have the password,
Mm-hmm,
if you don't have a good password,
right,
so now they have now taken over.
yep,
How long between Tuesday night at 8 p.m. where they get in there,
mm-hmm,
and you wake up at 8 a.m. the next day,
right,
and go and check on your checking account and it's 0, or whatever's happening.
right.
How long do you have to actually find that out? I mean, is there, if you did everything wrong,
Yep.
how long before you're totally screwed? Can they do it in 5 minutes? Can they data transfer everything right away?
Yes.
Immediate.
Yes. I mean, I don't want to turn this into like a scare fest. I understand that it's October and it's a few weeks away from Halloween, but I've seen where things can get really bad in a hurry. There's a business that I helped, and I helped kind of clean up a ransomware attack that they had, and it was a few days for them, but it was only because the attacker really wasn't as experienced, so it took them like a little longer. Now, keep in mind, if you're dealing with a ransomware attack, a ransomware attack, for the most part, from what I've seen and from what I've read, a ransomware attack, they are after one thing. They want to extract money using the ransomware malware. So right off that they're in your system, right? As soon as they have established themselves and that they have a good plan in place, it might take them a day or two. Now, if you're dealing with a really sophisticated group, I've seen some bad actors that have been, or some bad people that have been in some networks for 3 to 4 years without anybody even knowing they were there. Why do you think that is?
They're waiting.
Waiting or
Gathering.
Collecting as much information as they can.
gathering and then collecting as much information or skimming as much, what,
Sipping.
sipping,
A penny here, a penny there.
there it is, there it is.
You
So
never know
they're
what's
just
going
extracting, $10 here, $10 here, $20 here. They're just using it because why would they really make themselves known? Oh, they wouldn't, because as soon as they make themselves known, then that business is gonna lock everything down, or they're gonna go through that a 7-step incident response process, and then they're not gonna have that cash cow anymore, if you will. So yeah, you got something, Sarah?
We had a client here at the station, because we've been talking about ransomware, but he had somebody that infected him with a keystroke
Keylogger.
And so
keylogger.
it infected his laptop, his personal devices, his family's devices, and we're like, I won't mention who it was, but it was,
Yep.
so as one of our clients, we're like, why did he change his phone number, his email, why did all these things change? We're like, what's up with this guy, right? And then he came in and he was talking to us, and he had a keystroke logger, and he got rid of, it was so bad, he got rid of all his devices, changed everything.
You have to start over basically.
And this is a guy who's a serial entrepreneur who's made a lot of money,
Yep.
so could you talk about that? So this is somebody who came in, hung out there, and
Yeah,
infected
so-
everything this man owned.
Yeah, so to that point, I guess the best advice that I can give with something like that is to secure as much as that you can secure now, and you really have to be vigilant, right? You have to. The name of my company is a Socratec. It sounds a whole lot like, a Socrates, right? And the reason that I named it Socratec is, one thing that I love about Socrates is that Socrates wanted you to question everything. Okay, you should question everything. Well, why are we doing this? Why is our government doing this? Well, that's the way that you should be with your security. You should question everything. Like, why did my phone just change this way? Or why did I, that's the attitude, that's the type of vigilance that, what you should have when you're dealing with the cybersecurity, with the information security. So you should have a holistic approach where you should have an antivirus, you should have an anti-malware. You can never take a day off, and let me go ahead and move forward because some of that stuff I have. I'll let you kind of look at that for a second. Notice Santa says looks like everyone's getting what they want this year. Somebody posted my credit card. Now what I love about this picture is, notice Santa's kind of in a bewilderment, but look at this cat right here, right? What is he doing? Okay, shoulder surfing. Love it. What else is he doing? Thinking, standing around doing nothing. Why? Because everything stopped because of a cyber attack, right? Everything stops when you encounter the cyber attack. So this guy's like, well, I can't work. Everything shut down. All right? Yes?
One trick that I do is I put my passwords in a spreadsheet, and then I'll use codes for like a set of numbers or something like that. And I'll also, because I'm doing that, I have a section of that password that I highlight and do a Control-C, so I copy it so that if they're catching keystrokes, they aren't going to know what to do with that Control-C.
Okay,
Frank's an enigma.
That's really hard, Frank, I'm confused.
He is, and that's what it is. It's they actually have password managers, and we will talk about password managers just a little bit later on. So Einstein, I have his picture up here because you shouldn't think that you know everything, because the minute that you think that you know everything or that you're an expert, that's when you're going to get into trouble, right? Because if you think that you're smarter than that guy trying to get into your stuff, then he's probably going to get into your stuff, right? Okay, what is this right here? Can anybody tell me what this is?
That's your dog.
Okay, this is my dog. Okay, Alicia, what's the name?
Spoiled dog.
Okay, spoiled dog. Spoiled dog. This is our little Shih Tzu riding. Okay, you notice riding. You see what he's doing, looking out the window. Why do you think he's looking out the window?
Guard dog.
Okay, he's not a guard dog. He's not looking out the window. Babe, why is he looking out the window?
He's vigilant for me to come home.
Yes, that's what he's doing right there. He's not checking out for the bad guys. Mom normally drives up and, backs in into the driveway right here. So that's what he's doing right there. A guard dog will not help you. And this is my dog right here as well. Right?
That's prior to my call that I'm coming home.
Yeah. This is prior to her call that he's coming home. The reason that I showed you my dog is because our dog is awesome. Also, because I wanted to show you that a guard dog's not going to help you when it comes to, you know, information security or cybersecurity. All right, but they're not going to help you at all. He doesn't know what's going on in the cyber world. He's sleeping. He's like passed out right there. Okay. Meanwhile, on the other end of the spectrum, right? This is the bad guy right here. Okay. The bad guy is working 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Bad guys love mom. Okay. Does anybody know what mom is? Mom is an acronym that is used in the information security world. Okay? MOM stands for motivation, opportunity, and means. The only thing the bad guy needs is motivation, opportunity, and means. And the bad guy is probably going to get into your stuff, but if he wants to get in bad enough. Okay? Keep that in mind when you're juggling everything, dealing with, you know, how you want to determine what you want to put in place. Okay? The only thing that I can say with that is just don't make it easy for them. Right? And we're going to talk about that here in a minute. Okay, a CIA triad. Information security is based off of this triad right here. Okay? CIA confidentiality, integrity, availability. Basically what we're trying to do with information security, we're trying to ensure that our data is confidential, our data does not change. Okay, that's why we use blockchain, okay, to ensure that it retains the integrity through the process, all right? And also that it's available, okay? Available so we can use it, and then it's available for our customers as well. What I totally love is, so, you know, when we were on this conference call, when I worked as a lead security engineer with the Navy, and we were on this conference call with this admiral, and this guy says, well, you know, I don't know how you're going to transfer data from a ship that's out at sea to a land-based unit, and you know, so what we need to do is that we need to ensure there's no transferring of data, right? So I stopped him. I said, sir, so you basically just want us to air gap everything? And he's like, yes, we're going to air gap everything. Okay. Information security professionals love to air gap everything, right? Their answer is just air gap it. Just turn it off. Just, you know, put it in a safe so nobody can get to it, right? We still have to be able to use the data, all right? So, you know, it's a fine line. You constantly see the CIA triad. You should think about this with your business. You know, how am I going to, you know, utilize this triad to ensure that I can still accomplish my mission and my business goals as well. Okay, the CIA triad. But any questions about the triad? Okay. All right. Okay, air gapping. We talked about air gapping. Now, one of the easiest ways that you can secure your computer is to ensure that you have an admin account and to ensure that you have a user account as well. Does anybody know why?
Different players?
Containment?
Sarah, go ahead.
Containment?
Containment, you're right. If you have an admin account and you have a user account, if the bad guy gets into your user account, then he doesn't have access to your system information. Okay? All he has access to is the user account. So, you know, think about this with me. If a user account is hit with ransomware, then they're just dealing with that user account. So they're not dealing with the entire computer, which means that they don't have access to the registry, that they don't have access to the settings, all right? All they have access to is the user account. And if you have proper data backup going on, then all you have to do is just delete the user account and then just reinstall the user account. Then you're good to go. And you just move on and you just kind of laugh at the bad guys. You're like, ha, 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 ha. And just move on with it, right? All right. So yeah, if you are utilizing one account on your computer and it's your admin and your user account, please change please change and ensure you have a user account and your admin account. And it's easy to know if you have a user account and an admin account or just a user account. If when you install software, if it doesn't ask you for a password, it means your user account is your admin account. All right? So if it doesn't ask you for a password, or when you install updates or new software, it means that your admin account is your user account. Okay? If it asks you for a password, it means that it's separate, which is good. All right? Do not share accounts. And the reason you shouldn't share accounts is that the access, there's no access accountability, and you really can't determine when you start conducting forensics, you really can't determine what happened when. Okay? You should never share accounts. Okay? Also, allow operating system updates. Can anybody tell me why updates are important on your systems?
You want to get rid of any vulnerabilities that were discovered?
Okay, say again?
You want to get rid of any vulnerabilities that were discovered?
Okay, so, correct. So basically, whenever Microsoft or Apple, or whenever they discover vulnerabilities within their systems, what they'll do is they'll patch vulnerabilities by sending you updates for your system. So some people see those little updates and they're like, oh, I'm right in the middle of doing something right now. I don't feel like, no, go away, go away. So before you know it, you told it to go away for like 6-7 months, and that security vulnerability is still there, right? So we'll always allow the operating system updates, okay? All right, social engineering. Can anybody tell me what social engineering is?
Hacking people.
Happy people, go ahead.
Hacking next.
People are trying to use little information to pose as yourself and gain access, trying to, whether customer service representative, whether they're talking to, and poses you basically, and try to connive their way, or just, hey, I forgot this, can you help me out? I had this, but can you help me with this? And,
Yes.
It goes obviously person to person or online as well, especially in chat scripts.
So basically, social engineering is a way in which a bad person or a bad guy will get into your system by just asking you for pertinent information to access your system, right? So notice this guy right here. Notice what he says right here. Why hack? Why hack? Or I can just ask for it, right? So basically, bad guys have it figured out. If I just call up and just ask someone for their password, right, and then it's a whole lot easier than trying to hack into someone's server or trying to do it that way. A phishing email is a form of a social engineering. Okay,
Social media quizzes.
Go ahead.
Social media quizzes.
Social media quizzes. Yep.
Stop doing that. Yep.
Or forward this to somebody else, right? I still have not gotten rich from that Nigerian prince. I've sent him a lot of money, but every time I send him money, then he doesn't respond to me anymore. I don't know why. So yeah, social engineering. Bad guys have figured out that it's a whole lot easier just to ask you for the information. Okay. All right, email security. This is another way, just like we talked about in the social media thing, right? This is me right here. Okay, this is my wife. Okay, because I'm not doing what I'm told, and she's just like looking at me. I told you not to open the attachment, right? But I'm like, well, I know better than you, and obviously I don't. First thing is you should question everything. You should be vigilant with every single email that comes across your desk. Now, notice that I'm giving basics of cybersecurity, information security, right? The reason that I'm giving the basics is that most of the time, this is how the bad guys are getting us, okay? They're not spending all day trying to hack into your stuff or, sitting outside your house saying, man, how do I break in so I can, get their computer? right? It's so much easier through the email security, through the phishing emails, whatever, right? A question every email, never click on a hyperlink. If you're not sure what a hyperlink is, or this is a hyperlink right here, okay? Okay, something that's blue and
But
something
you
that's,
can't click on it.
underlined right there, what's that?
You can't click on it. Try to click on it.
Right, right. All right, so, change your password often. You should change it every 4 to 6 months, okay? And we'll talk about passwords here in a minute. Sign out of your computer when you're finished, all right? Or when you're through accessing your bank through a web page, you should sign out and close your browser, all right? Otherwise, it retains artifacts within your web page that bad guys are able to go back and they're able to piece together your history and figure out exactly how to get back in. So always sign out. Never forward an email. And final thing, can anybody tell me what that says?
Who's your cousin Ned?
Okay, who is cousin Ned? Can anybody tell me why I put that up there?
I don't know him,
Okay,
so I shouldn't open the email.
yeah, who is cousin Ned? What I mean by that is if your cousin or your aunt contacts you and you haven't had any contact with them for the past 10 years, right? More than likely, they're not really trying to contact you. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind. That's a form of social engineering. Okay.
There's been a rash of phone calls where kids on a kind of a staticky end say, "Grandma, I need money,
grandma.
I'm in jail."
Yeah,
You don't have to know their first name or anything.
Yeah,
Their grandma.
yeah, grandma. Oh, well, it must be Timmy. Timmy,
Yep.
is that you? Well, yeah, Timmy.
No.
Timmy, that's my name.
Another good one would be multi-factor authentication.
Huh? What's that?
Multi-factor authentication would be another good thing to put on there.
Yeah. So we can talk about, let me talk about this real quick, and then I'll talk about the 1-factor, 2-factor, and the 3-factor authentication, okay? All right, this is an example of a spoofed email. Some people know about this, some people don't. So, I'm gonna talk about it real quick. Normally when you're looking at an email, if you see any spelling errors, okay, that is a really good indication of that it's a spoofed email, okay, or a phishing email.
Or I didn't use my spell check.
Huh? What's that?
Or I didn't use my spell check.
That's why Sarah keeps sending me stuff and it keeps going straight to the trash. Just joking, Sarah. Just joking. So if you look at the from, normally if you see their email account and it just looks kind of weird, then it might be a spoofed email. Also, spelling errors, like I said. Never click on the hyperlink. If you get an email that looks really important and it's from a bank or something like that, what should you do? Should you click on the hyperlink?
Call the bank.
Okay, call the
Not
bank.
from the number in the email.
Go ahead, say it again.
Not from the number
Yes.
in the email.
Do not call the number on the email, okay? If I get something from a USAA, which is who I bank with, right? If I get something from a USAA, I will call the number that's actually already programmed in my phone, or then I will Google USAA, and normally one of those top numbers that'll pop up, that is an actual good number for them, okay? And you should never click on the hyperlink within the mail, within the email, all right? Because what they're able to do is they're able to spoof this link right here. So it says one thing, but they're able to assign another address to this, okay? So you should never click on the hyperlink right there. If you want to access, call the bank or go to the website or something like that, okay? So with that, let's talk about single-factor authentication, 2-factor authentication, and a 3-factor authentication. Does anybody know what a single factor authentication is?
Like voice, and then voice.
Go ahead.
Like sometimes you have voice, and then you have two like passwords.
Right, so actually what it is that there are 3 ways to authenticate yourself to a system. It's who you are, what you have, and what you know. Okay? Who you are, what you have, and what you know. All right? And if you use one of them, one of the 3, that is single factor authentication. So that means if you unlock your phone with your passcode, okay, that's a single factor authentication, okay, because it's something that you know. If you unlock your phone with the biometric, which is your thumbprint or your fingerprint, in addition to the code, then it's 2-factor authentication, okay, because it's what you are and what you know, okay? And if you have a smart card on top of that you slide into your phone, some phones allow you to do that, and then you use your biometrics as well, and you enter a passcode, that's 3-factor authentication. The strongest form of authentication to get into your system is 3-factor authentication, okay? Most of the time in the military organizations, we utilize 2-factor authentication, something that you have, and then something that you know, okay? Your common access card or your CAT card plus your PIN, okay? So yeah, a very good point. If some phones, some computers are actually transitioning to 2-factor authentication because it's a more secure way to log on. So has anybody had any issues with 2-factor authentication or 3-factor authentications or any of that stuff? No?
What do you mean by issues? Like problems you said, or?
Problems or concerns with it?
I use it all the time.
Okay. Okay. Yes, sir.
If you have to have your computer fixed by somebody else, can you turn off one of those then?
You can, so that you don't actually provide your password to them if you take your computer to the Geek Squad or something like that to have them fix it. So, all right. So yeah.
The biometric also.
The biometric, you can do that as well. All right. Okay, so password security. All right, what I want to highlight here, notice the name of your pet right here. How many people have ever created a password that contained the name of their pet? Come on. No? Really? There's only 2 people? Man.
I can't read my name now, you already told me what our pet's name was.
Right, yeah.
But I'll tell you, my daughter met Nanny when she was 9 because she knew the name of her father's first dog.
You see, there you go right there. There you go right there. Yep. So whenever I would give this class at the library, the first time that I gave it about 3 years ago, she was actually in the room when this slide came up, and she just started snickering with my wife because one of her passwords contained our dog's name. So, you know, she was a guilty party at the time. She's not a guilty party anymore. Okay, under your keyboard, you should never store your password underneath your keyboard. I've seen people do it before.
But on the side of the computer's okay.
What's that?
On the side of the computer's okay.
On the side of the computer's okay. All right. So this is a list of the 2018 most hackable passwords. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Password. Let me in. Football. A lot of football fans, right? And finally, this one right here. I don't know who they're saying I love you to. Maybe they're a computer, so the computer will let them in, or something like that. So yeah, I always love this list. But notice how most of them are 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, all the way to 9, 1, 2, 3, all this, all the way to 7. So I wonder why 6 is number 1, but 7 is like number 8 down here. You know what I mean?
It's,
It's an extra digit.
What's that?
it's a minimum.
Yeah.
Minimum is
Well, no, 8 is. 8 is. 8 is the minimum.
That's what, all right.
Well, it depends on the password policy of the individual place.
Netflix is 6.
Okay, there you go. Is
My
it?
parents can handle 8, so like we set the 6.
It's great. Can anybody tell me what a passphrase is?
Well, but also shouldn't you use different passwords for your different accounts as well?
Yes. Yes, a good point. Good point. So if you have Yahoo and Netflix and Google, and all of them should have different passwords. Okay? I've actually helped people before where they have the same password for like everything. And I just cringe. I'm like, no, that's this. No, this is your Yahoo account. Yeah. That's a password for my Yahoo account. Yeah, but that was your password for your Google account. Yeah, but they're the same thing. It's like, oh, okay. All right, so a passphrase, a passphrase is basically like a phrase as opposed to a password. And it's just something like, I love walking on the beach at 7 a.m. every day, okay, which is something really easy to remember, but it's really hard to hack, okay? So, try to use a passphrase, try to keep the password in a really safe place, and if you do have to write it down, keep it in a really safe place. Which brings me to the next point, password manager. How many people use password managers? Okay, you have a few, right? But these are some of the password managers that I pulled. And basically what a password manager is an electronic vault that encrypts all of your passwords. It's a 128 encryption, so it's really, really secure. What kind of password manager do you use?
Keeper.
Okay, Efort?
Keeper.
Oh, Keeper, okay. And then anybody else?
I use LastPass.
Okay, LastPass, I didn't get a chance to get LastPass on here. 1Password's really good. What's great about these password managers is that you're able to download them to your mobile device, and they will share passwords throughout all of your devices. So for a low monthly cost of maybe $3 somewhere in there, the only thing that you have to remember is 1Password. And once you log into your password manager, then you have access to all of your passwords. So it's really, really secure.
It's not intuitive as people would think. I don't find it very intuitive. I mean, it's like, it's got a little, when you go to a site, it pops up and you're not quite sure what to do. It's
Right.
got some work to do, but outside of that, the other side is a lot devastating.
So password managers have only been around for the past few years, but they're getting a whole lot better. I use 1Password, and what's great about 1Password is that the wife and I share the same account. So if she changes the a password for like the local utilities company or something like that, then I'm able to see the change as well. So if something happens to her or something happens to me, then we have access to the passwords, which is really great. And we've used it for what, maybe 3 years, something like that?
Well, you've been using it for probably 3 years, but I just now started to think.
Yeah, so.
Why do I need to know that when I have you?
Yeah, okay, Dave, thanks.
All right, on.
So, yeah, go ahead.
So the obvious question is, what happens when somebody hacks into them? Then they have
Very good question.
everybody
That's a really good
for
trade-off.
Yeah.
So, very, 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 very good question. But what's great about these is that you're able to access, or you're able to use two-factor authentication as well. So I use biometrics to access mine, as does my wife. So it's a lot more secure than just the entering of a passcode.
So you kind of touched on it earlier, when people were driving around, they're not looking for hard hacks. They're just looking for vulnerability.
Exactly.
And so, to your point, I mean, if you've got Keeper, they're gonna go, hey, let's just go on to another.
It doesn't go too much work.
Yeah, too much work, that's what it is,
That's right.
that's what it is.
It's an opportunity, it's not an availability, not a.
What's that?
We're gonna move on, you have a security system on your house.
Yep.
Or a watchdog.
Yep.
You're gonna get-
Well, I'm talking about more if somebody were to specifically target Keeper
Right.
to get all of their passwords.
Yeah,
For all of their members.
just like I
That's-
said before, the hackers love mom, okay? What do they need? Motivation, opportunity, means. If they have that motivation and they have the opportunity, all they need is the technical means to make it happen. And if they're gonna get into your stuff, right? So one of the common sayings within the information security world is that it's not if you've been hacked, it's a when you're gonna be hacked, right? But what is the process of when you get hacked, right? Like, well, what do we do? Oh, what are the steps? And it doesn't mean that you should just kind of, put your head in the sand and just pray that it never happens, right? You should kind of have some type of security, right? As opposed to just not doing anything. But that's a really good point, though.
The other thing is, if they do get hacked, everything's encrypted.
Yeah.
The hashes are going to be hard for them to crack.
Right. So your passwords are within the password managers. They are encrypted as well. But what I really love about the password managers as well is that when you access the password, you're able to copy the password and paste the password into that web page or that website that you're trying to access. So then you don't have to worry about the key loggers, because with the key loggers you're having to type it in, obviously. So if you can just copy and paste it from here, and if you copy it from here, then it's hidden so that they can't see it as well. So yes.
Sometimes I've experienced if you don't hit at least one key, some of the sites won't accept it. So a lot of times if they see that, I do a space and then a backspace.
Yeah, just so it recognizes. So I would like your feedback on, some of these right here. I use 1Password. So, I have my contact info. If someone wants to try one of these and just give me feedback and let me know, what the pros and cons are from their experiences.
You'd mentioned LastPass, they had a breach a few years ago.
About 2 years ago,
Yeah.
LastPass did?
Yeah.
Okay, do you still use it, or?
I don't use them.
I did.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I wasn't even affected on the breach either.
Oh,
But
okay.
I've used them for 7 or 8 years now.
All right, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wrap it up here because, I don't know how much time, and I know that we've been kind of added a little. Okay, these are my top 5 right here, and notice we have Socrates over here. My top 5, number 1 is the Socrates, right? Question everything when it comes to security, question everything. If something doesn't look right, then it's probably not right, okay? I'm gonna question everything. Power of the password. We just talked about password, I'm kind of bringing it up again. The bad guys want to get in and they want to take the easiest route possible, right? Mindful of emails, and you should question the emails. If you're not sure where the email came from, then you should probably delete it. But careful if you do that at work, because if your boss sends you something and you just don't want to read the email, you're like, oh, I thought it was a bad email, and you just send it straight to trash. So, I've seen that happen, unfortunately. Careful where you wander. Some of the websites that you visit might be infected. Ensure that the very top where the URL is, ensure that there's a lock up there, and that shows you that website is actually secure. And then finally, you should have a holistic approach, meaning you should have some type of security, you should question everything, and you should allow your updates as well. So yes, sir.
Okay. One of the things with the emails, okay, is that if you have a suspect email, hover over because what displays is the text of the name that they've given the email. And I get a whole bunch of them that are newsletter at blah, blah, blah every day. And I hover over it, I get to know the names of that. And so if you hover over that, or if you open the email and try not to open it by hovering, but otherwise, if you bring it in and it says to show the email address, a lot of times there's a down arrow. So that you can tell whether it's legitimately that who you expect it from.
Right, so basically you can tell if an email address has been spoofed or not, or a URL has been spoofed just by hovering over with your cursor, and it just ensures that whatever pops up matches with whatever that account or that URL is. So any questions, comments?
I think sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, antivirus also should be something that should keep up to date. This is one of the things that will prevent most of the things that you're discussing here.
So that was
relating
one of my
to
slides.
browsers.
So here you go right here, anti-malware versus antivirus. And there is a difference between the two. Thank you very much for your point. Notice anti-malware. Malware is any type of malicious software, and then you have antivirus. Antivirus and your anti-malware should work hand in hand. Your anti-malware includes things like anti-spyware, anti-phishing, or anti-spam. And it's more focused on advanced types of malware threats, such as zero-day malware. Zero-day malware is a malicious software that has not been experienced yet, or nor that we have found a fix for. Okay, that is what zero-day malware is. All right, antivirus usually deals with the older, more established threats such as Trojan viruses and worms, and these are some of the common solutions that you can use right here: McAfee, Norton, Bitdefender, and Kaspersky's as well.
You still like Kaspersky?
Huh?
You still like Kaspersky?
I put it up here because it's
You're
getting
fishing.
a lot better. What's that?
You're fishing.
Fishing.
You're fishing. The reason why you put it up there.
No, not at all. Not at all. Because I mean, they're a world-renowned, anti-malware, antivirus type of company. So I just wanted to put them up there and to let people choose. I didn't want to be biased to like one or the other.
Yeah, because I know your government background, a lot of them dump Kaspersky.
We in the government, yeah. So anyway, I saw you fishing there.
There you go. Maybe
Yeah.
I would throw it.
Yeah.
So,
To just ensure that your antivirus does the anti-malware stuff as well. And if you're wondering, your computer does have to have antivirus and anti-malware. Okay? So it's kind of a non-negotiable. Ensure that you have weekly scans going on with them. My scans run once a week. You can set your scans up to occur at like 2 a.m. on a weekday if you don't want it to occur at 9 a.m. or right in the middle of working. So anyway, very good point. Thank you so much. Any other questions, comments?
So, are there any words that anything that you won't have time to deal with now, but are there any buzzwords that we're going to hear in the future that you go, oh, in the cyber information security space? What's the emerging terms that we're going to hear?
Open auth. Open auth is you have a lot of big IT companies right now that are in talks, and you're kind of starting to see it a little bit with like Apple, with the new iOS release, where they are saving a lot of passwords for you. So they're kind of taking on the role of the password managers that I showed, like the 1Password, the password keeper. So Google, Facebook, and so basically they've been in talks to come up with a more secure environment, or developing a more secure environment for people to scan or surf the net without worrying about their data being breached. And they're doing that by trying to come up with another type of encryption that allows you just to move from website to website without having to re-enter your login information. So it's called OpenAuth, 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 and it's one word. So that, they're like in the talks. They've been in talks for the past few years about that. Blockchain, we've already talked about blockchain. That's the huge buzzword right now, especially with the innovation, right? If you went to the latest Synapse, a lot of booths, were offering the blockchain thing.
That there's actually a blockchain chamber of commerce?
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, there is.
Yes. So yeah, those are some of the things. So the other thing that I read was a Congress just passed something authorizing Homeland Security, like I said, to have that incident response, so people could contact the 911 number. Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to centralize some type of, have some type of centralized guidance system that people can contact.
But it's going to be overwhelmed as far as what they're going to be able to do.
It is, and one of the issues is
I wasn't trying to be negative, but
No, that's a really good point.
It's going to be
Very, very good point. They are not only going to be overwhelmed with the incidents that they're dealing with, but with the shortage of
talent.
There you go. With not only the talent, but certified talent as well. So, those are some of the things.
So, a couple of things. One is, I think that the do not call list, is something the FCC put into place, and I've really used it. Just because I'm tired of people calling. I think the other thing, maybe this is the correct term, the etymology of passwords is 1960.
Yes.
And so, much like our education system and our healthcare system, the delivery system of protection is way old and archaic. And so I think that when you start talking about, you didn't mention quantum cryptography.
Sorry.
Sorry.
No advance for us.
And then triangulation with geolocation, and then biomatrix and second, authentication methods. Because once we secure or start to get a handle on it, then communication and commerce starts to flow a little bit easy. And so, and then forward thinking, I would think that the Enigma machine in Germany, the fail was the human interaction. They became lazy. And I think that Google, Apple, and Amazon and the rest of those folks, they could put something into place, that changes these clogs so that it's... And is there any thought of that?
Yeah, and it's...
Going back to your Socrates
alphabet. It's it's a fine line of of teaching and, you know, but trying to get people to care, to really, really care about doing the right thing. Because, you know, all the stuff that I've, you know, talked about is a basic stuff, right?
Yeah.
But,
It's like flossing your teeth.
yeah,
You don't want to lose a tooth.
So when I first arrived at Oregon State University, and I was made the information security officer, so I started making my way around and I started to introduce myself. Hey, my name's, you know, blah, 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 and that's a really cool name tag, by the way, blah, 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 blah. But, so, you know, as I was making my way around, I couldn't believe, like, the basic information security, you know, best practices were not being followed, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's this one guy that was having problems with his computer, and I, you know, walked up and he's like, hey, can you help me with this? And so I said, well, you know, can you log on? And he's like, oh, just, what are you talking about? I said, can you log on for me? And his password was stored underneath his keyboard, right? So basic things that I talk about. When I said, hey, if you need some help downloading software or something, you know, contact me because, you know, I'm the admin now. And he said to me, well, why do I have to contact you? I said, because you're gonna need the password. And he said, well, everyone has the password. So the entire ROTC department, everyone had the admin password, right? So the basic security stuff of the human interaction, getting back to your point, you know, how do you make people care about it? How you know, that's.
Well, it's, you know, I mean.
That's the fight that you're having, right?
The thing
But I want to make sure because it's
Yeah.
7:30
Oh,
and I want,
sorry.
wait, no,
Yeah,
you're
we
good,
got-
because there's
got
gonna be people
announced.
that have, but I want to make sure, because there's some people that are gonna need to leave and there's some people that are gonna have questions. What you did, what you talked about was really cool. I want to do two things and wrapping it up is to say, there's not enough cybersecurity, information security professionals, are there?
No.
No. So, and the very cool thing is there's people that are developing great curriculum in this. So a number of years ago, people thought there was not going to be need for IT professionals. Remember, it was like really stupid. But if you want to get education and there's a need in the marketplace and they're data science and cybersecurity, information security, great place. And is it going to be a wild ride and an adventure?
Yes.
Yes. Will you ever, yeah, you'll never be bored. So that's a great place to go and get education. And I want to make sure that we give him a round of applause because and to make sure that you will have the opportunity to ask questions, but that other people don't feel weird if they have to leave. So I want to make sure that you're excused, but if you want to ask questions, please go ahead and do that. But if you need to leave, go ahead and do that also.